Hi everybody, hope you're all doing well. It's Friday, so you know what that means. It's time for some Hamlet. As always, the monologue will be in the description below, so take a moment to pause me, read it, and then come on back. So the monologue we're looking at today from Act 4, Scene 4 is one that is actually often cut from modern productions of Hamlet because the subplot that it refers to is very often cut. And that subplot is in regards to a gentleman by the name of Fortinbras, who is the Prince of Norway, and is basically everything Hamlet wishes he could be. So let's take a look then at the characterizations here so you can understand what I'm talking about. So we've talked about Hamlet quite a bit. Most of the monologues we've done have been his because, as we've determined, he can't shut up. And in this case, Hamlet, we've learned, is very indecisive. He knows what he wants, but he doesn't go and get it because he either thinks that it's wrong to go out and get it, or he can't figure out exactly how he wants to get it, and so he sits there in inactivity for 5 acts of the play. Well, 4 acts of the play. He finally does something in Act 5, and it ends up killing, well, himself and everybody. You know, tragedy. But yeah, he sits for 4 acts doing essentially nothing because it never goes to where he needs it to go. And we contrast that with Fortinbras, who, as Prince of Norway, also has a father who is dead, but his father is gone at the hands of Hamlet's father. And so early in the play we hear about Fortinbras, and what he's doing is he raises an army on his own to go and attack Denmark in revenge for his father's loss. Hamlet knows who the murderer of his dad is, lives in the same palace with him, and spends 3-4 acts not doing a darn thing about it. Fortinbras raises an army. And Hamlet sees this army moving at one point in the play. At this point, Fortinbras is no longer going to attack Denmark, he's going to attack Poland because of some political maneuvering by Claudius. But Hamlet sees this army of men just marching in front of him, and he asks the captain, he says, hey, who's leading this? And the captain explains that it's Fortinbras, that it's the group that had been originally raised to attack Denmark is now off to attack someone else because, by God, Fortinbras raised an army and he's going to do some damage with it. And Hamlet looks upon this and is like, well, what the heck have I been doing? I mean, this is even after the play within the play, when he knows for 100% of a fact that Claudius did what the ghost accused him of. He knows that he needs to do something to avenge his father's death, and he still does nothing at all. And he finally comes to the conclusion again at the end of this, the last line, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or nothing worth. He's like, finally is deciding, well, no matter what happens, whether he's praying or something else, I'm gonna do it now. Which, again, Hamlet, if you'd just done this 2 acts earlier, you would have saved a lot of people's lives, man. So many unnecessary deaths in this play because of him. Okay, so that's where we are. Hamlet's just seen this army march across. He suddenly realized he's been an absolute idiot this entire play, and then we move on from there. So from a character perspective, this is, again, it's a turning point speech. It really is. It's kind of like the speech we talked about last week where he has that turning point of, aha, I finally have an idea of how I can prove that the ghost is right. In this case, he's finally like, aha, here's the moment where it's suddenly like, I'm watching 20,000 men who are gladly marching to death over a piece of land that isn't big enough to bury them all. Which is what he says at the bottom. He's like, these guys are all gonna, so many of these guys are gonna die, and you're not even gonna be able to bury them on the land that they died on because there's too many of them. And it's finally a kickstart, and he starts off basically insulting himself. He's like, what have I been doing? I'm an animal. I'm a beast. I have all of these causes to act, and yet nothing. I've done nothing. But this guy, he raised his own army. He's going for it, and heck, even when his first plan was dashed, he said, you know what? I'm going to do it a different way. And so Hamlet spends most of this monologue beating himself up until he finally makes the resolution that, you know what? Fine, we're done, let's go. So let's see some Hamlet, shall we? How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sith, I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples as gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince whose spirit with divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. How stand I, then, that have a father killed and a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. And that is Hamlet. We'll see you on Monday for a new monologue. Have a lovely weekend, y'all. Bye.